Hey guys, it's Miss Katie. I miss you all so much, and I'm here to show you how to finish out your weaving project. Now remember, we worked on this a lot, and you may not finish it today, especially if you have a little bit of weaving to go. I tried to include colors that you had already started in your weaving, and just remember that you're going to need a grown-up's help to tie those off, and I'm going to show the grown-up how to switch those out as I work on this weaving that my son Zach is going to let me finish out for him. So this is his weaving. It looks different from ours because it's red, white, and blue. He likes patriotic things, and when I was helping with these looms for you guys, my kids all decided to make one too. But you see, he's got a little bit left to go, and he agreed to let me finish that to show you guys how to finish out your weaving and take it off of your loom. So if you remember, there should be a loose knot at the end where it connects to your needle, and if the end of your row ends under, then you have to go over to start the next row, or it will come out. So I'm gonna continue that pattern over, under, trying hard not to pull the white pieces of yarn out from the loom, and remember to scoot it up each time so that it stays tight. Now I don't have enough room here to make another row, so this is where you're going to want a grown-up's help. You untie it, choose a new piece of yarn, and make 2 knots, and then put it back through your needle and make 2 loose knots so that it's not difficult to get off of the needle when you need to add a new piece of yarn. I ended under, so I'm going to start over and then go under, over, until I get to the end of my row. Now the pieces that are showing here, we will cut those off. Zach has already cut his where he tied them, but I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Now I'm going pretty fast because I've done this a lot, but remember to take your time and go under, over, so that your pattern looks really nice and your weaving is very tight. And if you mess up, you can ask a grown-up to help. Sometimes I did that for you guys, where we just sort of back up and take out the yarn that was just woven a little bit wrong, if you want to fix it, and do it again. So I'm ready for a new piece of yarn. I'm not going to finish his all the way to the bottom, just so I can show you guys what to do next. But again, you're going to do 2 knots there. Those need to be tight, and these 2 knots can be a little bit more loose so that you can get that off. When I get finished with this last piece, we have to tie it off so that it doesn't come undone, and that's what I'm getting ready to show you when I get to the end here. I think I have enough to do 1 more row. What do you think? Pretty good. I don't think I'll have enough to get all the way through and make a knot, so I'm going to untie it here. And you see here, we're just going to make a knot right here on the end so that we can finish off this weaving. So I pulled it up a little bit. Again, a grown-up can help here. Just gonna make a little knot there, and then I will go back through and make another knot. Double knots, just like in shoestrings, help things stay nice and tight. And then I'm gonna take my scissors and cut that off. next part I'm going to show you how to do is how to take it off of your loom. Now, as you remember, we had this tape across the top that kept our white pieces on our loom, but now we want it off of the loom. And this is duct tape, so it's pretty sticky. So I want you to pull the back piece of tape up first. And you'll see that that kind of lets all of our white pieces of yarn free. And then you should be able to just pull your white yarn. Well, there we go. Be careful not to let the top row come off. I'll show you when I get this pulled out. So once I pull that off, see how this is kind of loose? We want to make sure that stays down. And to make sure we don't lose that top one, ask your grown-up to help you, and we will take 2 threads next to each other and tie those off. Again, 2 knots. So that's going to tie that blue thread or yarn in there to make sure it doesn't fall off. Once I'm finished with that, I'm going to do the same with the bottom. Okay, so I got Zach's weaving off of his loom, got it all tied up at the ends. Isn't it so pretty on this side that you couldn't see that was up against the loom? That's one of my favorite parts. It's really neat to see how smooth it is on that side. I'm gonna put this off to the side because Zach can use this again. All he has to do is put new yarn on it, just like we did at the very beginning. I don't know if you remember that or not, but we did this and we put tape across the top to make sure it didn't come off. And you can save your loom and your needle. And if you don't have yarn right now, maybe you can get some later and you can make a new project if you'd like, or maybe a sibling wants to make one and you could show them how to do it since you know how to do it now. So I am going to now tie this to a stick. I was looking for it. So I put this in your bag. If you have a different stick that you'd like to use, you may. I was just afraid that everybody wouldn't have the right size stick, and I wanted to make sure that you did. So I went ahead and tied this handle on, and I'm gonna go through, and you just take 2 of them, 2 of the pieces of yarn, and start tying your weaving to your stick so that it can hang. So I got his weaving all tied onto the stick, and now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna clean up these little pieces of yarn that we don't need, and I'm gonna be super careful that I don't cut the handle that's tied onto the stick, especially since it's the same color as these little pieces that I'm cutting off. I'm also going to cut the extra yarn that's on the back where we tied all of the pieces. You don't have to do this part. It's something that Zach had started doing, and so I'm gonna keep doing that. If you'd like to leave yours tied, it's your project, and it's gonna be on the back anyway. So if you'd like to leave your ties, you wanna leave it tied. I'm sorry if that was confusing. If you wanna cut the ties off, you may. If you want to leave the ties showing, you can also do that. But I am just gonna go through and I'm gonna trim those little pieces off just so it's nice and tidy. Again, not something that you have to do, especially if you're afraid you might accidentally cut your weaving. You don't want to do that. That would be super sad. So he only had a couple left to do. You can still sort of see the knots, but not as much. And when you turn it around, you don't see it at all. If you remember, this is the one that I made originally, and it was already completed. That's why I wanted to use Zach's to show you how to do the steps in between. But we had these tassels, and we planned on making these together. But I was afraid that I may not be able to send you enough yarn if I didn't go ahead and make those. So I hope you like the colors that I picked out. If you look, you'll have one tassel that's a little bit longer than the other 2, and I like to put that one in the middle. I think it looks neat like that. I usually start off by putting the middle one, and then I put the side ones. I'm going to show you how to make one tassel in case you decide to make another weaving, and then I'll show you how to hook it on to your project. Okay. So there are probably lots of ways to make tassels, but I like to use my hand. I think it's easy, and you can make them different sizes by using a different number of fingers. So for the long tassel, I use all 4 of my fingers, and I just wrap it until it's as thick as I want it to be. And then cut. You want to leave that in your hand, cut another piece. This piece you're going to put, and you'll probably want some help here, but this piece you'll put at the top and then get someone else to tie it. That ties all of your pieces together. Let me see if I can do this without help. I'm still keeping my hand in there just to keep those all separated so that I can then take my scissors like this and cut it. Now you can see that it's a tassel, but there's still one thing missing, and that one thing is the little ball at the top. So I'm gonna cut another piece and lay my tassel on there. Kind of looks like a little person like that. And then I'm gonna tie it again with a double knot, always double knots, and then just fold that down and it can become part of your tassel. Now we have this. Sometimes I like to cut it and trim it so that it is all nice and even too. It's kind of like cutting hair. So I'll show you how to attach it now. So I left these strings on here, and that's how I'm gonna attach it to this project. I start with the middle, and you just wanna take one of the bottom pieces of yarn, and you're gonna tuck it in there and tie it how many times? 2 times, double knot. And then I'm gonna cut it really close. And now we have a tassel. Now Zach probably wants a red tassel and a blue tassel on here as well, so I am going to stop on the tassels on Zach's because I don't have red and blue right now, and I'll have to get some for him. The last thing that we're going to do to finish this out is to add the name tag. Now I wrote you a letter, and your name tag is at the bottom, so you just cut that out. Oh, those are my sewing scissors. I'm going to use different scissors. I don't know if you knew that or not, but sewing scissors, you only want to cut material and thread and yarn, and then these are my paper scissors. Okay, so I cut out Zach's name. Now his is not as pretty as yours, but I just wanted to show you how to put it on there. You should have enough yarn in there that you can choose a piece to tie that on. You can do any sort of knot here. I like to do the one where you push it through like this, and then you push both of these ends through and pull it, and then it just looks like a little gift tag. And then anywhere that you want to tie that, you do not have to put this part on, but I think it's fun since it has your name and the date. Zach doesn't have the date because, again, he's probably going to make his own tag. Those off. See, those scissors don't work as well for yarn because they're paper scissors. And then it has the little tag, and it's on a stick, and we can hang it up. I have enjoyed making this project with you guys so much. I've been so excited to see what your finished products would look like because you all worked so hard, and some of you really had some trouble at the beginning, and you persevered and you kept going because you knew that you could do it. And I hope that you're really proud of yourself when you finish it and you see what a pretty project it is. It is something that you've worked very hard on, and I would love to see it. If you would like to send me a picture, you can post it on Facebook or you can text it to me, but I can't wait. I miss you guys. Bye.